What's going on, Canes fans? We are back with another episode of the Croot on the U, brought to you by the Scoop on the U. This is going to be a little different show. You know, it's not just going to be jam-packed with recruits. We've actually got some very unique guests, and we actually got a current Cane player who's going to be joining us just to kind of give us a little heads up on what he's been up to lately. Starting the show off here, we actually have a guy who's running a recruiting service who's helping families and recruits out through that process, which we all know can be long and arduous sometimes. This is Darren Gamel, and he runs Darren Jr. Recruiting Source. What's up, Darren? How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic, man. Thanks for joining us, dude. Thanks for giving us some of your time.
No doubt. I appreciate you guys having me on.
No doubt, man. No doubt. So your service, it originated in Columbus, Ohio?
Yes, sir.
And you are also working in, let's see, so you're in Ohio, Arizona, and Texas. Anywhere else?
Yes, sir. That's it right now.
Okay. So just off the jump, you know, I mean, what do you provide for families and recruits? You know, what does this service do for them?
So Darren Jr. Recruiting Source, basically what I do is guide student athletes and their families through the recruiting process because some recruits, they kind of go through a long, strenuous programs of, you know, over time, it's just like really stressful, and a lot of people don't actually get a grip on the whole, basically the whole thing. Like it's a pretty big process, and you know a lot of people don't understand it, and even high school coaches that's been coaching for years, some of them don't even really understand the recruiting process, like you'd expect them to, and things just change over time, and so that's kind of what I do is connect high school athletes and hopefully get them to the next level wherever their dreams take them.
And what made you start your recruiting service?
So basically back in high school, I kind of realized that a lot of high school coaches kind of pick and choose who they really want to push to get to the next level. I wouldn't even say it's favorites. It's more like, okay, this kid has more of a shot, or this kid has more of the measurables. And you know, I hated going through that myself. You know, seeing that type of thing. I got recruited by D1, 2, and 3 colleges and NAIA, and I definitely believe that some of my other teammates deserved opportunities to play at the highest level, and you know, some things just didn't happen that way. So that's kind of why I took it upon myself to help high school athletes get to the next level and hopefully reach their dreams.
And what's your athletic background and I guess your experience playing college sports?
So I started playing football when I was like 6 or 7 years old. I also wrestled from 4th to 8th grade, and I played baseball my whole life. And I kind of thought I was gonna just play baseball in college because I felt like I was way better at baseball, and I kind of had a God-given talent, and I was just like, yeah, I think this is what's going to be for me. But then once I reached high school, I kind of fell in love with football, and I don't know what really happened, but it just kind of happened. And, you know, it was a process where I kind of decided, okay, I'm going to stop wrestling. I'm going to free up some time. I'm going to only play football and baseball, and push come to shove, I'm doing football and baseball camps. And I ended up having a couple opportunities to go play college baseball at the D1 level, but I ended up actually going and playing D2 football at Notre Dame College. After a year playing college football, you know, I didn't get extra scholarship money, so I couldn't afford to continue playing. I looked to go transfer, but some schools do some things where you can't go to another school in the same conference at the D2 level. So basically that was leaving me stuck at having to go D3, which I knew was going to be even more money because they obviously only have the academics money that they can throw at you through the FAFSA and all that good stuff. And so I kind of said, okay, well, I guess I'm going to hang my cleats up, and I ended up joining the United States Marine Corps, and did my service, and then got out, and I just continued doing what I've been doing.
Well, first off, Darren, thank you for your service.
No doubt. I appreciate it.
So I'm kind of curious here. when a college staff member, gets a hold of you, what are they asking you about? I mean, what are they wanting to know about players? Or is it something to where it's like you have a spreadsheet that you can just give to them with all the info they need?
Yeah, so basically right now, I have a spreadsheet, but basically all that consists of is, first and last name, contact information, how many offers a kid may have, and what high school they attend and their height and weight. And that's kind of the rundown I give them because I'm like I said, I'm very big into not having one like picking and choosing between guys, right? So basically, what I try to do is send them a spreadsheet, say, hey, this is all the guys that I help. Check them out. Let me know who you're interested in, and then kind of go from there. And then that's kind of when we narrow in on who they're actually interested in and all that good stuff.
And I was looking through your Twitter account there. Are you working with basketball recruits as well?
No, I did not.
Okay. I just saw you with some pictures and stuff. I didn't know if you were getting involved in that or not.
No. Usually, I just go support some of the guys that
Yeah.
do hoop it up and stuff like that. Go out to their games. I meet some of the college coaches that are on the road. They'll tell me like, "Hey, I'm going to be at blah 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 tonight. If you want to come hang out, and we'll go up there and just kind of bull crap."
Yeah, great way to connect like that, in a very chill scene too, like kickback scene,
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's the age range that you work with?
Typically just high school, so 9th to 12th grade.
And what would you say is the biggest misconception that a lot of people have when it comes to high school recruiting and the recruiting process for these high schoolers?
So basically, it's my biggest thing like that I kind of realized over the years is some people, parents included, they don't live in reality. They kind of see this and see that, and they don't realize, okay, like even this is including myself. I even did it whenever I was a freshman and sophomore. It kind of ended when I got to my junior year where I'm like, oh, I know I'm D1, blah blah blah, and then once you realize, okay, I'm not like, this is for me. I'm not getting over 5'10". So I'm like, okay, I'm playing middle linebacker. Okay, now let's look at these D1 guys. Okay, they're 6'1", 2'3". It's like, all right, now let's be real with myself and sit down and understand where I'm actually at. And that's the biggest thing that a lot of high school recruits don't realize until it's too late, or the D1 or bust mentality is really horrible too.
Do you think that overall there's too much of an emphasis, just in general, on going D1 and not D2, D3, IA and such?
Yeah, I definitely believe so. And the thing is that's kind of bad about it now is it seems to start more at a young age now. Like back whenever I was younger, we didn't really look at it like that. Yeah, like, okay, I'm from Ohio, so like, oh, we want to play for Ohio State or whatever. But we didn't look at it as like, oh, we want to play D1. It's like, you're the biggest school in your state. It's like, oh, I want to play for them. But it's like, it back in the day, it wasn't like that. But nowadays, like, kids are 5, 6 years old, and you're hearing their mom or their aunt or whoever on the side like, oh, he's going D1, he's D1. Like, man, you put that in these kids' heads and at a young age, and it really screws them up in the long run if it doesn't pan out.
Who are some of the mentors that you had that you kind of got to look up to, or did you start this process all on your own?
So basically, whenever I first started doing this, I actually didn't have no idea at all what I was doing, other than taking the connections that I had coming out of high school with college coaches that recruited me. When it got to the point, basically, I knew that, okay, I'm not going to be able to go play at this level. I started just kind of trying to build a genuine, basically person-to-person relationship with these college coaches and put aside the fact that they're a college coach and just kind of try to relate to them and understand who they are and if they have families and kids and all that type of stuff. And kind of, I guess I didn't really have any mentors other than like looking up to people in like the 247 and rivals and stuff like that. But I didn't even like, I feel like what I do isn't even really that, because that's more of the a media side, standpoint of things. I'm more actually in the action of the recruitment. I actually see behind the scenes of everything, hear the conversations between the coaches, and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I can't say like my mentor. Basically, I would say is a guy named Derek Alexander. We call him DA, and basically what he kind of did what I'm doing, but it was more at a smaller scale where basically he was training guys and then also taking them out on like college visits and stuff like that. And within just the last 3 years, he's had 5 dudes drafted to the NFL, and he manages a couple of them. So, yeah, he's kind of made it to the point where like he's, I guess, accomplished some of his goals and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome to hear, man. That's awesome.
And then someone I actually look up to is Tom Lemming. He's like a dude that I can't say I aspire to be like that because he's like one of a kind, you know what I'm saying? But he's definitely an inspiration. Traveling hundreds of thousands of miles
all over.
Yeah. So I'm actually looking forward. I should be meeting him March 5th at Winton Woods High School in Cincinnati. Possibly he's supposed to be stopping there, so hopefully I get to kind of pick his brain a little bit, not bug him too much, but just let him know I do look up to him and I respect him a lot.
Yeah, I mean he's a guy like you said. He's coast to coast. He's everywhere. If there's talent, he wants to find it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, are you looking to get into other states, getting a little bit more involved in other states like maybe Florida, or do you have any other states on your mind as well?
So I actually did have a kid. He early graduated and went to Jackson State from Florida. He had over like 50, I think he had like 53 offers or something crazy like that. His name's Tristan Sion. And so I helped him. I helped him for about 2 years. And he's a really good kid. But obviously once they graduate and stuff, I can't claim that no more, because they're not a part. I don't have no one in the state no more. So, that's kind of, I don't know how I feel I should go about it, in the long term, because I think I only got a couple more years of doing this really. Then I'll probably hand it down to somebody who went through the program that's a little bit younger, because once I'm like 26, 27 years old, I won't really be able to relate like I do now with some of these student athletes. So I definitely feel I should hand it down to somebody who's been through the program, knows what's expected, and also is younger and can connect with these guys, at a better rate.
What would be your message to high school freshmen who, don't really know much about recruiting, but they know they eventually want to play in college? Just what would be your message to them as far as how they should approach their recruitment?
So I feel that as an incoming freshman to the high school level, you need to take slow steps. You need to be willing to learn. You have to be coachable, and you just have to be an open-minded kid. Always have to have great grades. That's like the biggest thing that I wouldn't really necessarily say it holds people back, because everyone knows how this stuff is. If you're a really good ball player, you really only need like a 2.3, you know what I'm saying? And that's stretching it, but at the end of the day, the higher grades are, the easier it's going to be for colleges to actually take that chance on you, and kind of just use your platforms wisely. Don't trash your social medias with any crap that shouldn't be on there. If you want to do it in front of your mom, don't do it on social media, and just also keep God above everything.
And what role do you think that parents should be playing in recruitment? Because I know sometimes there's over involvement and such. Just I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm not the type to overstep my boundaries, but I do like to tell parents like, hey, because there's some weird things you see nowadays. Like some things I run into is like parents running their student athletes' social media. Whenever I was younger, like, yeah, my mom or dad, would be like, hey, what's your password? Because we got to check it or whatever. But like they wouldn't constantly have it on their phone and be like looking through their social medias and posting stuff for them or DMing people back. And that stuff is kind of a little weird. And coaches see it like that. It's like, man, what? I know this ain't no freaking 14-year-old kid I'm talking to, It's like, no. So that's one thing that's I feel like is overdoing it is like you shouldn't have control of your kids' social media. You should obviously overwatch it. Yeah, definitely 100% because that's what I do. But I do it from the outside. I do it from like my standpoint. I can go on their social medias and I can see like, okay, pull up blah 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 and find him on Twitter. Okay, go through his social media. Okay, he don't have nothing stupid posted. All right, good. He passed this, passed that test.
So I saw in the 2022 class, you had 10 D1 signings, 5 D2, 2 D3, and 1 JUCO. I want to skip forward to the 2024 class. In your eyes, in comparison, how do you feel the talent is in the 2024 class compared to the guys you worked with in 2022?
It's definitely much more high level. Things also were a little shabby, right? Because COVID and stuff was going on back then.
Very true.
That definitely, I guess, put handcuffs on guys, right? Because some of those guys that end up going D3 or JUCO could have been a D2 kid, but then you have all those guys coming back because they get an additional year, and then some guys can get a medical year plus that COVID year, so then they got 2 more years. So, and I truthfully don't feel that we're gonna see things get back to normal for another probably two more years, another 2 cycles, and then things will be a little bit more normalized and stuff like that. But I definitely feel like my 2024 class is very, very high level. I feel like the class that just graduated in 2023 is like kind of they kind of set the bar up very high. I had a guy go to Ohio State, LSU, Michigan, like a lot of programs. It's like, wow, okay, like a lot of Power 5 big time programs. And so like, okay, like now the younger guys can actually see what these dudes are doing, see how bought in they are, and kind of see if they can match that or go above it.
Well, I got a specific player I want to ask you about, and he's a player that Canes fans are familiar with. He's a player you're working with. We've spoke about him, many times. That would be tight end Tavian Galloway in the 2024 class. I've spoke about how I feel he's special. Coming from you, the guy who sees him, behind the scenes and all that stuff, what is so special about Tavian Galloway? What makes him such a great player?
Well, I want to start it off by how we first met, because I think that's definitely the tell of the take. Whenever it was 2 years ago, it was going into his sophomore year. 7-on-7s are not legal here in Ohio until June and July. And that's when the high schools kind of do their own 7-on-7s and go at it, right? It's not like down in Florida where they basically build their own teams like South Florida Express and, all these types of different teams, bootleggers and stuff where they basically build their own squads. No, it's your boys versus a rivals team, a team that you might play week 8 or something like that. And there's actually stakes there like bragging rights and all that. So there's a small town called Greenfield McLean. I went over there, was actually watching one of my other guys that I'm helping at the time. And I see this really long kid. He definitely was like running around like a baby deer. And it's like, man, what the heck? And then one play, he just snags a one-handed, like in the end zone, one hand goes above somebody and pulls it down. It falls on the ground, but he still catches it. And I'm like, I looked over at a parent like, who the heck is this kid? Like, he has to be a senior, right? And they're like, oh, I don't think so. I think he's just an incoming sophomore. And right then and there, I was like, well, shoot, he's like 6'5", 6'6", don't you think? They was like, yeah, that's a big boy. And they was like, you might want to look at him on a basketball court. He's even better. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So basically, I ended up finding him. One of the kids knew who he was, and we connected on Instagram, and we was talking. I was like, hey, how serious are you about, going to play in college ball? And he was like, oh, I'm a hooper, man. I play basketball, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I think you can be a football player, dude. And basically from there, it's kind of like clicked and everything kind of just soared. I told him, give me like 4 to I said, give me like 4 to 6 months, and we'll probably get you some offers rolling in and see what the tape's looking like. Because at this time, he didn't have no tape from his freshman year. He played DN, but he didn't know nothing about huddle or nothing like that, making his own highlights. And after like week 2 or 3, I think it only took like 3.5 weeks, and then University of Buffalo actually called and offered him a scholarship. Me and him and Coach John Prado was on FaceTime, and they offered him his first scholarship, and then kind of from there is what she wrote, right? So kind of he's up to 30 D1 offers now, and he's a great kid. And I think what separates him from the pack is how strong in religion he is. He's very faithful, and with that comes a lot of power. And I definitely believe that's what separates him. And he don't get in his head too much. He's very mature for his age. He likes to do his own thing, and he's much more of a leader than a follower. And so I think those are the things that kind of separate him from the pack.
And I just have one more question for you, man. So you mentioned how in the next couple of years you want to give what you have off to someone a little younger, to kind of carry the torch. What's next for you?
So basically my end goal is, God willing, that I will be able to have a couple guys go to the NFL and basically hire me on as basically their manager, and I'll be able to run the operations from hiring their agent to their day-to-day life to connecting with their agent and doing their signings. If they're wanting to come back to their communities, doing like giveaways and stuff like that, like just basically whatever manager has to do for an NFL player, do those type of things, and hopefully I can also train them as well, depending on the position.
Got it.
Well, man, I got one last question for you as well, Darren, and this is a question that we ask every single guest that comes onto the show, recruit, current Cane player, anybody, what made you fall in love with the sport of football, and then why do you want to continue, this path that you're on? What really gives you that drive in football to do it?
And honestly, football is just something that kind of filled a void in my life whenever like I felt like there was struggle and things weren't going straight. I felt like I could always turn to football, and football would always love me just the way I love it. So I feel like that's kind of why I love football, and that's kind of the fuel to the fire, because I like to help everybody out, and I try to treat everybody great and hope they do the same in return. And that's what my love for football is, and that's my reason.
Well, man, Darren, I thank you so much, dude, for giving us this time this afternoon, dude, just to kind of explain the service you're doing and what you're doing for recruits and for their families. Because the more I looked into it, the more intrigued I became, honestly. And to know that we got good guys like you out there helping these guys through this process and guiding them through Christ, which is honestly, I feel is a very important aspect as well. You seem to have a very, very clear focus on that. And I believe that's a very, very strong thing for all those athletes going forward. So much props to you for everything you got going on there, dude. And I hope that the big picture, like you say, of being able to hand it down to somebody else, they keep it running, they keep it alive, and then you're able to fulfill what you want to do in the future. I hope it all works out, bro.
Definitely. I appreciate you guys for allowing me to come on tonight and kind of just tell you guys a little bit about myself and about my journey.
Yep. We'll definitely stay in touch, Darren.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. God bless.
Have a good one.
God bless. Oh, geez, he already showed up. All right. We are going to go through one by one here. We got Max Riley jumping on here first, guys. We got Maxwell Riley. We were running a little bit behind here. We started the show a little bit late, but we're going to get to all of our guys here. But who we've got with us right now is we have got an offensive tackle out of Avon Lake, Ohio. This is 2026 offensive tackle Maxwell Riley, who was offered by the Canes. What's up, Max? How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
We're doing great, man. We're doing great. Sorry about we're running so late there, dude. But I really
You're good.
appreciate you taking the time to jump on here and let Canes fans get a little more familiar with you.
No problem.
So what I like to start it off with, what's your current height and weight?
I'm 6'5", about 260, 265.
Okay. And how did this last season go for you and your team?
Pretty good. We got to the second round of the playoffs and lost to the state champs for Division II in Ohio.
Were there any off-season workouts you did before the season that you feel helped you take your game to a higher level?
Yeah, I trained at T3, which is football-oriented lifting with Dale, Roddick, and Coach Chad.
Hey, man. First off, just want to say it's a pleasure to meet you, bro.
Pleasure to meet you too, sir.
Yeah, man. And just tell me, I mean, you mentioned your freshman season went well. Just how well for you individually? How much do you think you grew as a player?
I think just sticking with it and not really worrying about what's going on around me. Just putting my head down and going to work really paid off.
Got you. And then, you have those offers right now. I mean, you got Miami, Florida State, Toledo, Miami, Ohio as well, correct?
No, they accidentally put it in as Miami, Ohio instead of Miami.
Oh, got you. Okay. I wasn't sure about that, man. But just, I mean, tell me, you just finished your freshman season. You're receiving these offers and interest from these major programs. Just what does it mean to you?
I'm really just honored and excited to be getting this amount of attention as a freshman. I didn't expect it at all. It's just a surprise and a welcome one, definitely.
What positions have you had the chance to play on the offensive line so far?
Left and right tackle.
Okay. They keep you on the ends?
Yeah.
Which do you prefer the most? Do you like being on that left side or the right side?
Definitely the left, because later in the season I was just permanent left.
Okay. So this off season, what's the weight room focus? Where you want to add some strength, to kind of give yourself a leg up going into next season?
Probably overall explosiveness.
Is there anything specific you're doing with trainers to help with that or drills?
Yeah, I'm training still at T3. Just working as hard as I can, getting ready for next season and camps and stuff like that.
How would you describe your game to someone who's never watched you before?
I like to play, best technique as I can, play physical, play hard, play to the whistle, sometimes a little after.
And then, what are some of the areas of your game that there's still a ton of time left in high school, but what are some of those areas that you want to clean up and improve?
Really everything, always get stronger, can always have better footwork, can always play more physical.
Got you. And then, speaking about your Miami offer, just tell me, how did that come about?
It was honest. It was a surprise. My head coach was on a call with the offensive line coach, called me over, and then they offered me, and I was just really surprised and excited as well.
Who's the biggest rival high school you guys compete against?
Avon.
Avon?
They're
Okay.
Yep.
What was it like the last time you guys played each other?
It was crazy. There was about 6,000 people. There's
Wow.
usually about maybe 1,000 at our games, and that was my fourth ever start. So going into that was interesting experience.
Do you feel that the rival game was your toughest battle for your team that season, or did you guys play a team that you feel is better?
I'd say definitely that game or round 2 of the playoffs against the state champs.
And are you playing any other sports?
I do track and I throw shot and disc.
Okay.
And then, what are some of the, or who are some of the offensive linemen, the college or NFL level that you like to watch and kind of take things from their game and add into yours?
Definitely Trent Williams, because he's one of the best in the game, if not the best. And I love watching Orlando Pace because he invented the pancake. So,
Got you. And what are some of your goals that you have? Obviously, still a very long time away. What are some of the goals that you have heading into your sophomore season next year?
be all state. Want to get my team as far as I can and help them as much as possible. be the pancake leader on the team, set the record on my team for pancakes.
So let's talk a little game week film study here versus pass rushing defensive ends. When you're going in to study that film, what are you trying to identify early? What are some things you can take advantage of?
Really their level of physicality, what moves they utilize the most, and stuff like that.
Got any pre-game traditions? Either solo or with your team. Anything you guys do?
We do a team prayer before, do the same warm up, stuff like that.
So, what gets you most excited on the field? Like what truly gets your heart pounding?
Being out there with my brothers, just a surreal experience every Friday night. I love it.
What are some of the schools that, I guess you haven't gotten an offer from that you've always wanted to receive, I guess, that love from? Like, who are those dream schools for you, if you have any?
Really, I'm just excited to any school that's willing to give me interest or anything like that.
Gotcha. No, yeah, of course. And what do you think? I mean, obviously, still very long time. I'm sure it'll change as time moves on. But what are some of the factors that you want to see from these coaches and from these colleges when making your eventual decision? Like, what are those most important things for you?
Definitely, I would say getting a good education while playing the game I love, having a team that's built on some foundations and morals and stuff like that.
Our head coach is an offensive line coach himself. Played offensive line. He works hand in hand with it. Does that appeal to you as an offensive tackle to have a head coach who also understands the offensive line?
I would say it definitely does.
Is that now, how would you rate that, I guess, in terms of importance? Is that high on your scale, or is it just something that's kind of just like, just something more just to add to the mix?
I would say it's definitely nice to hear.
Well, he did make the mention just recently that he wants younger players to get more snaps. Is that also an appeal for you?
I mean, yeah, going into college, ideally you want to get as much playing time as you can, as early as you can.
The next question I got here, man, and I know you got a little bit of time, but when it's all said and done for you, what do you want your high school legacy to be? What kind of player do you want to be known as?
I want to be known as just someone that worked as hard as they could to get where they wanted to be.
So I just got one more question, man. Very, very random question, but what does your game day playlist look like and who is on it?
Could you repeat that, please?
Who is on your game day playlist? Who are you listening to?
I don't listen to music before games.
Okay.
I pace a lot. I pace a lot.
So what does your pregame ritual look like then?
Well, we're just getting ready. O-line goes out first to warm up, come back in, get dressed. Then you have like 30 minutes, and I just pace, and sometimes I just stare at myself in the mirror.
Go ahead and give the good people watching the show here, let them know your social media plugs. How can they find you on social media?
My Twitter handle is @BigMax2026, all lowercase. And then Insta is MaxRiley76.
Okay, and give a shout out to some of the coaches that have been helping you develop, and anybody else, trainers, anybody else you want to show some love to.
I would definitely say, first of all, God, my family, my head coach, Coach Justelnik, offensive coordinator, Coach Beckman, O-line, Coach Lowe, whole coaching staff, my trainers at T3, Coach Dale and Coach Chad.
Well, man, I got one last question for you. This is the question we ask everybody that comes on this show. Why do you love the game of football, Max? Where do you get that passion to go out there and compete at such a high level on a weekly basis?
I would definitely say the family aspect of the game. You feel close with your brothers. And sometimes you just like putting people on the ground.
Simply put, I mean, that's one thing that guys always like to say, especially offensive linemen. They like to say they can put hands on people and not get in trouble for it.
Right.
It makes sense to me, man. Well, Luke, do you have anything else for our fantastic guest?
No, that's all I got, man. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.
You too, sir.
Yeah, Max, we'll stay in touch, and we'll definitely want to bring you back on in the future so we can update fans about your recruitment and your development and all that stuff. So we'll stay in touch.
All right.
You have yourself a nice night.
You too.
All right, guys, that was one of the biggest up-and-coming offensive tackles in the 2026 class, in my opinion. He's already got the body for it. He's refining the body, and it's just basically it's technique from there. You know, that it's all it is. It's just technique from there, and I think he has a very high ceiling, and I can see after watching his film just briefly, I can see why we gave him an offer and why we're intrigued, even though he's 2026. I can see it. Well, guys, we actually have a very, very special guest joining us here right now. We have a current Canes player. We have got with us tight end Jackson Carver. You're on mute, Jackson.
How's it going?
There you are, bud. What's up, dude?
Nothing much. How are you?
Doing good, man. It's always great to have you on here, dude. I always love having you on the show, dude.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
So, man, Jackson, how's it been going, bro? I mean, you sent me that DM, earlier today about how you felt Miami was the best choice you could have possibly made, and that that there was no better choice for your future. Like how are things? Obviously, they're obviously going well, but what's going so well?
I mean, everything. Like I couldn't say one bad thing about my experience here so far. I mean, first off, classes are going really well. Pushing me in the classroom and definitely learning a lot. And then on the football side of things, I mean, it's been kicking my butt for sure. But I mean, every time I'm out there, I'm big smile on my face. Like we could be doing sprints and just have a big smile on my face. Like I'm in Miami, I'm playing football at the U. Like it's amazing.
Are you noticing any big differences, like with weight room workouts, anything like that yet, or did you come in prepared?
I mean, I definitely came in prepared, but I've
As
definitely
prepared as you can get.
no doubt. But I've definitely gotten stronger already in the first few weeks that I've been here. Stamina's been greatly improved. I mean, kids are throwing up left and right, but I have yet to throw up. But it's been great. Strength coaches are all great. They're all pushing us extremely hard, but they all love us like family. So it's been amazing.
And what has that adjustment been like, just living on college? Like, how has that been?
Well, I mean, I've been at boarding school for the past 2 years, so I'm used to being away from home. But being down here, having an apartment, it's definitely a step up for sure, and especially being down in Miami, it's a lot different than living in the middle of nowhere in Indiana. So I mean, like I said, it's been great. Nothing bad to say about it. It's been like a dream.
Nice, man. And then what do you know what you're studying yet, or is that you still kind of figuring that out?
Yeah, I'm majoring in finance, and I'm planning on adding a minor in real estate.
Okay, sweet, man. And just you mentioned about how you're working to get stronger, and that you don't feel like you're already stronger. Just what is I mean, obviously it's a huge difference, but just explain the difference between a high school strength and conditioning program and a college strength and conditioning program.
I've never really been in a true strength and conditioning program before. I've always just lifted on my own with one other buddy, or one or two other buddies, and kind of just getting my conditioning from just playing lacrosse, playing hockey, playing football. So I've never been in a true traditional weight training program. So I've already been putting on a lot of gains.
You made a mention of the strength and conditioning staff, so of course I have to bring up Coach Feld. How's that relationship going with you and Coach Feld?
It's been great. He's extremely energetic, which is awesome, and he's extremely tough on us when he needs to be. But he's also just loving. I mean, it's tough love. Like he's gonna get in you if you need that extra push. But once you finish it, he's gonna just love up on you and just she's just a great human being for sure.
You know, everybody says the guy that we see on the videos and on Twitter and stuff, that's who he is. I mean, that's
Yes, sir.
who Coach Feld is. He's got that energy all the time, man. That's got to be a little contagious, I would think, you know?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, the guy just in there just beating his chest basically the whole time, you know?
Pretty much.
How's things going, you know, with relationships with you and the current players? Are you getting a chance to meet more of the upperclassmen?
Oh yeah. We're all getting together, getting along real well. We're all kind of mixing in now. We're all getting acclimated. Really been welcomed into the team, which has been great. Already close friends with a lot of the guys on the team. Doesn't matter what year they are. So yeah, it's just been great overall.
And I gotta ask, as you know, you mentioned there's guys that've been throwing up in training and stuff like that, and you haven't yet. So, as a guy from Minnesota, you're clearly handling the heat very well.
Yeah, that's been the biggest adjustment for sure. It's February right now. There's usually a half a foot of snow on the ground, but it's been beautiful. Like campus is always beautiful. Sometimes I'm sweating going to classes and stuff, but we train in the morning, so it's not too bad. And at the end of the day, it's a mental thing. Like you just got to push through it. No one feels sorry for you. You just got to get to work.
And then just take me through these workouts now. Just how grueling and difficult they are. I mean, I know you mentioned how you're just kind of pushing through it, and that no one feels sorry for you in that regard. But just I guess how grueling and just what's the overall intensity of them?
They're extremely intense. I mean, if you're staying around, someone's gonna get on you. Like you always got to be moving, always got to be working, always got to be running. Whether we're doing conditioning, whether we're lifting, always got to be doing something. Always got to be pushing yourself to get better.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the biggest things that you've learned? I mean, I know you haven't been here for a whole while, but what are some of the things that you've learned right now?
Honestly, I know this isn't exactly what I don't think this is exactly what you're asking about, but I've learned a lot about myself that I can take a lot more than I thought I could, which has been great, extremely uplifting for myself. Been able to know that I can push myself harder than I've ever been pushed before and still come out alive. But just learning new lifts and learning new like just technique, whether it's running or blocking or catching, anything like that. We've been learning a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, you exactly answered the question, so you're good, man. So you just feel like you've grown a lot mentally and just the way you're able to handle different pressures and different obstacles that come in your way.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So this time of year, as a freshman, what's the eating program like? Is it pretty standard compared to the rest of the year, or is there some differences right now?
I don't have anything to compare it to, only being here for so far, but we get 2 to 3 meals a day, plus an allowance for more food. And I've been eating more than I've ever eaten in my life. And I don't know exactly what it'll look like throughout the summer. I'm sure it'll be more in the fall. But we never go hungry, that's for sure.
Now, I know one of the favorites down there is, a little bit of mango, some chili powder, and some vinegar they add to it as well. Have you tried that out yet?
No, they have mango for us, like for breakfast with the fruit and all that, but never had anything on top of the mangoes.
You'll see some of the upperclassmen, bro. You'll see them, man. They'll do the chili powder. They'll do a little bit of vinegar on it and stuff. Yeah, they go all in on it.
I'll have to try it out sometime.
It's got a bite to it. I've tried it before, bro. It's got a bite to it. I promise. Do they still make smoothies and stuff like that for you guys right now?
Yes, sir.
what is your favorite smoothie they're preparing for you?
So I have this smoothie that I've had from back where I worked out back home. They did the same kind of thing, have smoothies for us. I'm actually gonna read the recipe for it. It's hold up, let me pull it up here. It's in my pictures because it's really good. So I had to make sure I wrote it down. But I got some milk, some yogurt, banana, berries, protein powder, peanut butter, oats, avocado, and spinach.
That sounds
That's my
fire.
go-to. Yeah,
That sounds good. It sounds good.
that's my go-to.
Nice, man. So, spring football, March 4th, right? I mean, just
Yeah, yes, sir.
how excited are you?
Oh, I'm pumped. I can't wait. We just got fitted for shoulder pads, and it's a little taste of what we're about to go through, and it's gonna be so much fun. Like I can't wait. It's gonna be hard. It's definitely gonna be hard. It's gonna push you more than we've been pushed so far. But I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we came here to work. So I can't wait.
And how excited are you just to put on pads and to compete and to really get that taste of college football?
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting as well. I mean, just being able to hit someone, being able to compete, work with each other. You're gonna win some reps, you're gonna lose some reps, but it's all part of the process, and we're just there to get better.
Speaking with your family back home, how cold has it been in Minnesota lately?
It's actually warmed up quite a bit. I think it's high 20s, 30s this week. So, but I mean, 2 weeks ago and before that, it was -10 almost every week. So it's been quite different here. I'm making my parents jealous, sending them pictures of campus.
Bro, you already got a tan going.
I know. I know
going.
it's been.
So, you spoke earlier, about the training and guys getting sick and all that stuff, and you dealing with the heat. Well, what else goes into that is stamina. What gives you so much stamina? What have you done that's really allowed you to jump into this as a freshman and be really prepared?
I mean, back home, working with Bill Welly at the training house, that's been huge for me. They got me ready. They got me back from my injury. They got me ready to come down here and excel, and that's exactly what I've done, and that's what I've been trying to do at least. But I mean, really, what I keep telling myself is mind over matter. I mean, when you feel like you're tired, you got so much more left in the tank, and just can't let it get to you.
Do you have a favorite part of campus to hang out at?
I mean, everywhere. Like, there's not a bad spot on campus, to be honest. I only really go. I'm only really traveling between the football facilities, my room, classes, and the food court. Really. So those are my 4 spots. But anywhere you go, you can just take a seat, sit in the sun. I like to find a shaded spot, but but anywhere on campus. The lake is beautiful. I always love walking across the bridge or driving my scooter across the bridge, just taking a look out at the lake. It's beautiful.
No, for sure. And just to put you on, 3rd floor Shalala, there's this, because I go to school in Miami, there's this like outdoor kind of like look over across that like looks over the whole campus.
Right.
It's fire. It's just I'll check it out. And then last question I have for you, man. So what are your goals for your freshman season, if you have any at this point?
Yeah. I mean, I have both academic and athletic goals. Like, I want to maintain at least a 3.6, try to get team average, a position average up, do my best to help out the team in that way, but just put on weight, learn more about the game. I don't have specific number of games or anything like that, or catches or yards. I mean, that stuff will come. I just need to prepare and be ready for when it's there. But I just want to continue to put on weight, continue to get stronger, build more bonds with more teammates, and just get better as a team. We have a lot to improve on, and we're working as hard as we can to do that right now.
I just got a couple more questions here for you, Jackson, and we'll get you going. What's in your headphones when you work out? What are you listening to?
You know, on my way to the weight room, or I mean, we don't work out with headphones as a team, but if I'm ever doing something like extra, like a couple guys and I, maybe a speaker or something, I'll put on some Tupac, Biggie, DMX, that kind of stuff. But if I'm just hanging out or like getting ready for it, I'll be I'll have some Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, David Allen Coe, that kind of stuff on, you know.
Any CCR?
No, not too much.
No. They're one of my favorite bands, but I just never found any like football music from them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And my last question is who are the tight ends that you've actually had a chance to meet currently on the team so far?
All of them. I mean, we've all
Everyone's
gone out to dinner. Oh yeah, we've gone out to dinner 2 or 3 times, I think.
Okay.
We're on each other every day. And I mean, I'm talking to them every day, so it's been great.
Awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that everything's going so good. I mean, that DM that you sent me earlier, dude, like I was just like, I had the biggest smile on my face when you said that this was like the greatest decision you felt you ever made. I mean, that just, as a Miami fan, dude, like I told you, we are so proud to have you at the U, bro. Seriously. I know I'm not the
Thank
only
you.
fan that feels that way. Many
Thank
fans feel that way, dude. And we see the upside. We see the bright future coming on and off the field for you, Jackson. So, man, just thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. You know, we didn't want to keep you for too long, but dude, just thank you once again for jumping on here and letting Canes fans just get to know you a little bit more.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, of course.
Have a good night,
care.
Carver.
You as well.
All righty. That is Jackson Carver. That is one of our main big-time tight ends coming in. Crazy high upside. I mean, this dude's massive already. He's a big boy already as a freshman. I mean, if you look at him in the weight room, he's clearly been putting in work on his own for years and years and years. And from what it sounds like, man, his hands are getting better and better, you know? His hands are getting better and better. His route running's improving. He really had to focus on that this offseason. And he's a high IQ on-field player. You know what I'm saying? And those are the kind of guys where I'm hoping that, you know, if we get into positions where we need, you know, plays breaking down and stuff like that, we need tight ends that can sit in zones and find zones and create themselves and get open and stuff. And he reminds me of those kind of players. He's always searching for some way to get open, it seems like. And I can just see him kind of being a broken play guy that we get his ball in his hands and it turns into a 40-yard game, you know, right away. So I'm really excited to have him and Riley and Skinner as the future of this unit. It's pretty amazing, honestly.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's it's great to hear that he's already, he's loving the whole process right now. I mean, winter workouts are tough. They're really tough, especially down here in Miami. I mean, it's constantly 75 to 85 degrees throughout the winter. So I mean, it's grueling conditions, and very rigorous and strength and conditioning program, and the different workouts they do. But spring football quickly approaching. We said March 4th. He's very excited for it. So let's see how he competes, and so it sounds like he has a good mindset heading into it.
Yep. I just love the fact that he has absolutely nothing negative so far to say about the entire process of him moving down to Miami. Not even that it's been a little bit hot. I got to get used to it. Hasn't even been an issue for him, bro. And he's coming out of Minnesota. I mean, where he lives in Minnesota, it is traditionally colder in winter daily on average than where I live in Alaska. So, I mean, this dude is used to some seriously cold temperatures, bro. Like, I rarely get in the negatives. He sees negatives every freaking winter in Minnesota where he lives, bro. So I think that adds a little toughness to you. Honestly, I think it does, dude. I mean, I see him out there, dude, taking pictures in T-shirts and shorts with 4 feet of snow behind him. You know, it's he's just a tough dude, man. I'm glad we got a guy like him in the tight end room. Honestly, that I think he'll add a little bit different dimension than the other ones we got. You know, while he is a playmaker, no doubt about it. I think with his size and his athleticism, he can be a playmaker and a blocker for us. And that can open up so much for us, especially with 2 tight end sets. Well, man, that was pretty much all I had to get through here tonight, dude. Luke, anything else you wanted to cover?
Oh,
I
there
think
we
you're.
go.
Oh, you're good. You froze for a second.
Oh,
I was just
folks.
saying, yeah, you froze for a second. I was just saying, yeah, I pretty much got everything covered I wanted to cover. Just wanted to check to make sure you got everything covered.
Yep, no, we're all good. Just like I said pre-show, this computer I'm running with today is the best, the most optimal. So no, but I mean it's it's really cool to see how Jackson's just made this seamless transition from, like you said, Minnesota, where especially in the wintertime, much different temperatures. But it's looked like he's adjusted very, very well to what Miami has to offer in that regard.
Whole different world, man. But I'm glad I'm glad we have him, and I'm proud as hell we have him. He's going to be a good rep. He represents the Canes well on and off the field, I think, and that's the kind of guys that Mario is going for. And representation of Miami and being proud to wear that U on your chest. Mario's going to get these guys proud again to wear that. You can already see it when we talk to them. You know, these guys are happy to be at the U with this coaching staff. So I can't wait for the future, bro. But guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Like I said, it was a little bit different of a show. We had a guy, I wouldn't call him a recruiting expert, but he's a guy who helps families and helps recruits through the recruiting process. His name's Jaron Jr. If you didn't get a chance to see that, that was actually a cool way to open up the show tonight. He gave us some very interesting and inside information about the recruiting scene. Then able to bring on a very, very talented 2026 offensive tackle who's already got an offer from Miami. Keep an eye on him. He's from Avon Lake. And, yeah, of course, ending it with my main man, Jackson Carver there, man. I love it when Jackson jumps on, dude. So, dude, awesome show with a wide variety, a little bit different than normal. But, man, I'm glad you were able to join me tonight for it, dude.
Of course, man. Always. No, it was a great show, like you said, great variety, and yeah, awesome show.
All right, Canes fans, we're going to be logging off here, but we will be back next Wednesday with the might not be the same thing as this, but we'll be back with something. That's for damn sure.
Yes.
As always, go you, go Canes.